Round one.
So we're underway then. Action from the men's 63.5 kilogram light welterweight division. It's a contest between boxers from Papua New Guinea and Tunisia. The compact figure, wearing red, is John Ume. Man who needs no introduction in the three-round format of elite IBA three-round boxing. Two-time Olympian at the Games of Paris last summer and the delayed Games of Tokyo 2021. Two-time Commonwealth Games participant in 2022 and 2018. As his opponent, the man wearing blue, Firas Tabii, just spoken to about punching incorrectly. So for all those tournaments I've just mentioned, for John Ume, had the privilege of being ringside to commentate on those. And this man from Papua New Guinea is a handful when he's at his best. But he's being kept on the end of a long jab there by his towering opponent. In addition to those appearances on the global and international scene in those multi-sport extravaganzas, he also took 2019 Pacific Games gold, did John Ume. There he looks for the left hook over the top, followed by a right hand. As Tabii spoken to about celebrating his success in a fashion that's too exuberant. Nice head movement on the edge of range from Ume, marauding his way forwards, catching his man with a looping left hook as Tabii was looking to disengage. But he's doing a good job keeping the movement going, is Tabii. Content to operate near the ropes, and see, with the head up in the air like that and the ropes limiting your movement options, Ume will feel that he can get close and try to check the chin, because there's literally nowhere else to go if your back's against the wall like that. That's an art in itself, of course, of boxing and slipping and sliding on the ropes. That's what Tabby's attempting to do there as he spins back out to the space of center ring. That right hand straying around the rear for an illegal shot to the back. But Ume struggling to close the gap here. He's got to be careful that he doesn't follow his man around the boxing ring, because that's what he's doing right now. With Tabii moving right, surely he's got to move left to cut him off and then look to unload his heavy leather. But you see, just simply cannot close the gap, and so surely he's got to maybe double up the attack. He's being touched repeatedly by these featherlight punches of Firas Tabii. And there was the desperation in the work of John Ume in a bid to try and get close to his taller opponent. Well, it was a competitive round, but I just think that the man in blue got the better of it. It was a risky tactic to not really seek to push your opponent backwards, made him miss repeatedly. That was the bull rush at the end of the round from John Ume, who was in the round. Just not sure he did enough to take the round, but remember, we'll be using the verdict to the 5 scoring judges. And it's Tabii who has got it on a 3-2 split. Judges 1 and 5 preferring the work of
Seconds
Ume.
out. Round 2.
So we're moving to the second round then. John Ume, having conceded the first on a 3-2 split, has come out with renewed purpose to begin this second round, but he's still being met by the flicking longer punches of Firas Tabii. So the onus is on Ume to try and do something different. There he's wrapped up as he tried to get close. Ume turning his back, which is against the rules, of course, after his balance was just inconvenienced. Just touching him with shots is Firas Tabii. Good right hand to the body from Tabii, spinning out of his own corner. covering an awful lot of ground up in the boxing ring, but he's doing a good job of keeping the movement going, is Tabii. Oh my goodness, what on earth has just taken place there? John Ume, not heeding the referee's mantra of protect yourself at all times. He was bending over as the clinch was disengaged, and he was served up a 4-piece combination. And then Tabii just engaging in a little bit of showboating to try and discourage John Ume further. But Ume keeping the pressure going and is getting closer now. There he lands with a clipping left hook, and the forearm's gone in. A mouthpiece has been dislodged after a chokehold was applied by John Ume. So Firas Tabii will have that gum shield rinsed and reinserted. So halfway stage of the second round, and that was a really rather surprising interlude, and that a timeout almost there. Took his time getting back to the corner, then had a little bit of a chat with his coach as Ume comes hard charging once again. Now he's got to come with more than a single phase of attack. He's quickened up his feet, he's picked up the pace. Looking rather disorganized on the ropes is Firas Tabii, and we did mention he's clocked up an awful lot of mileage around the boxing ring. And the referee just speaking to Tabii about punching incorrectly. So now Tabii uncalls a nice right uppercut, but some of his punches of the flailing variety. But again, straying into rabbit punch territory around the rear of the head, and I wonder whether all of a sudden Tabii is feeling the pace, because he's breathing through a mouth that's open. He's looking to wrap up his man over on the ropes. It's resulted in an untidy tumble to the canvas, and all of these can be clock-killing tactics. Now this is the mouthpiece out for the second time. The first time, the Tunisian corner took their sweet time rinsing and reinserting, had a bit of a chat thereafter, but White puts him in a little bit of a perilous position here now, because if that mouthpiece comes out one more time, no doubt that a point will be deducted. Tabii looking busy to try and discourage the man. He ties him up once again and then tosses him through the ropes. I think he's walking a tightrope here, Firas Tabii, and I think he's trying to look busy to discourage the man in red. And you see, for the incorrect punching, he's going to be docked a point, and he can't see it coming. So Firas Tabii, I think he's going through a bit of a bad patch here in the closing stages of this round. Trying to con John Ume in many respects. He's looking busy, but I don't think there's any real purpose behind his movement. And this bell cannot come soon enough for Firas Tabii to make it back to the blue corner and try and gain some respite. After a round that took an eternity to resolve, we had stoppages, we had boxes falling to the canvas, the mouthpiece of Firas Tabii came out twice, then there was another stoppage, so a point could be deducted because he's punching incorrectly. I think the man in blue's got problems. Now, he may have edged that second round. I personally would give it to Ume, but he's had a point deducted for punching incorrectly. So that will be taken into account at the end of the contest in the event that we go to points. 3 minutes can be a long time if you're a fighter, if you're a boxer who's running low on energy. But there was another incident. Cluster of punches going in on an unprotected chin.
Seconds out. Your third and final round.
So there are the scores. Firas Tabii edging the second round. So we have interesting scores. 2 scores tied up at 19 points apiece. 2 scores for Firas Tabii, 2018. Oh my goodness! And we suggested that the man in blue was just going through a bit of a bad patch, and he has been sent to the canvas in heavy fashion. So the referee issuing a count. Firas Tabii showing the referee that he is okay to continue, and in all of this the mouthpiece has been dislodged, and this is the third time So I think Firas Tabii's problems are continuing here, because I think a point is going to be deducted. And you can see the manner in which his breathing has become labored. And there's a point deduction for the mouthpiece being dislodged. And now John Ume is going to have a point deducted for an illegal shot. My goodness, what drama, what sensation. And John Ume will feel, well, hold on a minute, he hit me on the break in the opening round, and Ume feels that he's got his man going here. It's an incident-filled third and final round. And Firas Tabii, again, looking to fashion a clinch. He's doing everything in his power, from my perspective here ringside, just to remain out of harm's way. Ties his man up once again. Ume desperate to get his hands free. And this is a dangerous line being walked by Firas Tabii. Still not at the halfway stage of the round. Charging back in comes John Ume. Firas Tabii on his bike once again, but he can only move or punch, but he can't do both. We've got a trace of blood on the shoulder of Firas Tabii, and I'm struggling to see where that has come from. But Firas Tabii is, oh my goodness, it's a cut to the left eye of John Ume. And it's been caused by an accidental clash of heads. So in the event that this injury causes the bout to be stopped, then we will be going to the scorecards. And the minute 22 of the third round that is being contested will be scored. So this is bizarre. I'm not sure I've ever seen this, because Firas Tabii has lost his mouthpiece. Now, how can the mouthpiece be lost unless it's been removed or spat out by the boxer? Because it certainly wasn't a punch that did it. And all of this is time for Firas Tabii to recover. Now, I'm sorry, I think this is out of order and against the rules. Remember, he's already had a point deducted for the mouthpiece coming out on 3 occasions. The corner should have 2 mouthpieces available, but this is managing the clock and getting time to recover. And it's another point deduction for the mouthpiece, and that is it. He's been disqualified. And we said that the man was in real trouble for the manner in which he's conducting himself in the boxing ring, and so it has proved an incident-filled affair. And he is absolutely beside himself with frustration. But really, he and his corner, that's the thing about this sport of boxing, it promotes individual responsibility. And Firas Ume is absolutely overcome with emotion. But we said the mouthpiece came out on 3 occasions, resulting in a point deduction. He was docked a point for illegal punching. And then the mouthpiece, after an inspection of a cut from John Ume, the action was set to resume, and he said, I've not got my mouthpiece. So the referee, having no choice but to issue this warning once again for the mouthpiece coming out, and it's a DQ. And John Ume will be going through at the end of an absolutely incident-filled encounter. He's bitterly disappointed. One can understand it, given how hard the boxers work to get to the global stage of the World Championships. But he and his corner are going to have plenty of reflection to think upon when they get back to the locker room and film review in days to come. You have to feel for the man, but we suggested from the middle of round number 2 that his energy levels were dissipating, and, well, ultimately he's been DQ'd. Let's get the official verdict.
Ladies and gentlemen, on ring B, the bout was called to a halt in round number 3. For your winner by disqualification, representing Papua New Guinea, John Ume.
So John Ume, a disqualification winner over Firas Tabii of Tunisia. A bout that was filled with incident, filled with drama and sensation. Firas Tabii docked a point for round 2 for incorrect punching. Docked a point in round 3 because the mouthpiece came out on 3 occasions. John Ume was docked a point. Now, in round 3 for illegal punching and not listening to commands. And then, after John Ume's cut was inspected, Firas Tabii said, well, I've not got my mouthpiece. And there ensued a search patrol looking around the boxing ring, trying to find the missing gum shield. And at that point, for another infringement of the mouthpiece not being in the mouth, the referee calling a disqualification.